Welcome back. Once again, adventurers, let's play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, upon speaking with Frau Kojiro, Kaito Yashio finally decided to commit himself and activate Kimijima Report number 7. As of this moment, the first 6 Kimijima reports have been distributed all around the world, just as Sister Centipede said they would be. All that's left to do now is wait. I buy 2 bottles of soda and head out onto the runway. There's Gunbuild 2, still in the exact same position as it was when it collapsed on top of Savaru. I never even bothered to move it. It's there that Model 2 rests in the same position it fell in. Soon to be dismantled, along with Gunbuild 1, as per Vice Principal Usui's orders. Akiho stands alone in front of the fallen robot. She has her hand on the robot's shoulder in a tender display of affection. She stands in silence. From behind, Madam President of the Robotics Club looks incredibly lonely. With the club gone, the 2 giant robots we built are to be disassembled at the hands of contractors. They're supposed to arrive here today to take them away. Usui isn't wasting any time. I wonder how Misaki will feel about this news once word reaches her ears. Though, to answer my own question, she's probably been anticipating the dissolution of the Robotics Club for quite some time now. In truth, the VP told us we weren't allowed to come here anymore, given that the club has been formally disbanded. But in what world would we actually obey? As I approach, Akiho speaks to me without turning around. But before we listen, it's time to check out Twippo. With the release of Kimijima Report number 7, all the Kimijima reports will be copied limitlessly and will spread out to the world. However, the IRE connected to the reports will not be shared due to debug. We'll monitor and report the situation as it continues to spread. Words from Michi. Irei's funeral went well. I know you couldn't come because you're busy with work. Please at least send some prayers into the sky from Tokyo. HUG is kinda scary. Please figure out how to deal with this. This kind of accident can't happen again. Counting on you. I'm afraid your prayers are going to fall on not deaf ears, Michi, but yeah. Yeah. And in the news cycle, it looks like our efforts are finally starting to bear fruit. Does anyone want to trade information about Kimijima reports that are trending right now? Hashtag Kimijima Report. What is this? A game? The flags being so difficult made me laugh. That's disconcerting to me. I'd assumed that after obtaining all 6 reports and activating the 7th, that the Kimijima reports would just be distributed automatically and prolifically to everyone. But it looks like the flag conditions have unfortunately been copied and pasted as well, which kind of slows things down a bit. A lot, actually. Pretty much means that a lot of people aren't going to read the Kimijima reports as much as I thought. There's a report opened by clearing the flags. That it does, Estevan. Or that they do, I should say. What was written on it? Ah, so on top of that, the reports have been distributed separately rather than simultaneously. That's also not a hopeful sign in my book. I succeeded in opening report number 1, but it looks like there is a 2, lol. Looks like this isn't going to happen as quickly as I'd hoped, which in hindsight might be a blessing in disguise, but yeah. I mean, on the one hand, you know, people not taking the report seriously will ensure that the Committee of 300 don't quite cotton on to what's going on. However, with that said, once Misaki looks into her own news feeds, she is going to see this hashtag Kimijima Report, and she is going to have the first idea as to who is responsible and why. Can someone tell me what's on it? How many total? It's like a made-up story about solar storms, Nasha being part of a conspiracy theory, typical delusions. This isn't going so well after all, is it? Of course it wouldn't. Who is Kimijima? There wasn't a geotag like that until recently, right? Looks like there are people talking about Kimijima reports overseas. The word just started trending today. Maybe it's a promotion for a movie. So, not what I expected, and certainly not what I was hoping for. I think that, yeah, I think your words are going to fall on deaf ears, Ko Kimijima. Let's see what the Three Stooges have in store for us, if anything. First up, as usual, is Neidhart. Can the Kimijima reports be an SOS from a cute 2D lolly who lives in cyberspace, and when you collect them all, you unlock an H scene with her or something like that? If so, I will pour my heart and soul into it. Haven't done that in a while. Foo-hee-hee. You and your delusions, Neidhart. You and your goddamn delusions. Not for you, 3D. I'll never accept you. I'm only interested in 2D. My sense of honor barely allows up to 2.5D. Oy vey. Are there people who are actually trying to set the flags for the Kimijima reports? I just hacked into and analyzed all of them, but they didn't have anything interesting on them. Yeah, of course you would just void the flags completely there, Dash. I would expect nothing less from a hacker as esteemed as yourself. Those Kimijima reports kinda seem like viruses, so I don't think they should be spread around too much. If something gets snuck in the data, all the Pokecoms in the world will be infected and it will be a disaster. Anyway, finally it's Kurikame, Kurigohan, and Kame Ham. I'm gonna go Kame Ham because that's where it, yeah, the name's cut off on the screen there. The writing style in the Kimijima Reports reminds me of my old acquaintance. How that endearing idiot talked was very similar to Kimijima. It makes my head spin. There might be similarities, Kurikame, but Ko Kimijima is dead, and has been dead for some time now. Not that you would ever find out about that, unfortunately. This recent outbreak of the same Chunibu as him is becoming a pandemic. The reports feel like a real nice conspiracy theory bro moment, TBH. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Ko's warnings have ultimately fallen upon deaf ears. Very deaf and blind ears at that. If I were to comment on it, I'd say that the reports are completely missing the details regarding the specific method employed to actually trigger the magnetospheric storm. You know, one of the most important parts of a whistle-blowing piece, SMH. Shake your head all you want, Kurikame, but, yeah. I'd wager if Ko Kimijima actually did post the specific method that the Committee of 300 are using to, achieve Project Atum, among other things, they would cotton on to what's going on much faster than we would like. Yeah, looks like our efforts aren't paying dividends as I would have hoped. But then what else is new?
この子、泣いてるように見えない?
If robots could cry.
さあ。
左足のすねのパーツがね、ぐにゃってねじれちゃってるの。痛いよ、痛いよって言ってるように見えて。でもね、そんなのうちのただの妄想だって分かってる。ロボットは意志なんて持ってないし、痛みも感じたりしないもん。スバルの怪我と一緒になんてできない。
It is and it isn't. Let's put it that way. Let's compromise on that. Akiho takes her hand off of Model 2 and turns to face me. I understand as soon as I see the expression on her face. Akiho hasn't given up yet. Even with all that's happened, she's still determined to press on. But the situation this time is even more dire than it was in the past.
というわけで、ちょっと遅くなったけど、部長っぽく最後を締めようと思うんで。カイ、聞いててくれないかな。
It's not like he's got anything better to do.
どうぞ。
I shrug and prompt her to continue. Akiho looks up at the sky for a while. She raises one hand like she's about to take an oath.
中央種子島高校ロボット研究部は本日をもって解散します。皆様のご愛顧ありがとうございました。
And with those words, it is done. She then respectfully bows. It was fun while it lasted, for what it's worth, but it has come to an end. I get the feeling that patronage isn't quite the right word to use in this instance. But whatever, I clap my hands anyway.
Ne?
Upon hearing me ask that, Akiho takes a deep breath and hardens her expression.
あとはうちだけで何とかするつもり。
なんとかって？
ロボ部はなくなっちゃったわけだから、個人の趣味ってことで何とかしようかなって。
She really hasn't given up at all. Did you expect her to, Kaito? What am I talking about? Of course you did. I had a feeling. She still hasn't made her dream come true after all. Would you turn your back on your own dream of becoming Kill-Ballad's world #1 champion, Kaito? I didn't think so. But even then...
それが許されるとでも思ってるわけ？
Unfortunately, with the way things are now, Kaito does tragically have a point.
許されるわけないと思う。
Akiho working on robots so soon after Subaru's accident. And with Gun Barrel's reputation completely tarnished by the committee and scorned by everyone else.
ロボ部の不祥事なんだから、部長のうちが真っ先に責任取るべきなのに。
But Akiho is trying to atone for her mistakes, which is saying quite a lot.
まだ夢がどうとか言ってるなんて許されるわけないよ。スバルはうちのこと恨むかもしれない。傷ついてるジュンの心をさらにえぐることになるかもしれない。きっと教頭先生にはまた怒られるだろうし、スバルのお父さんに知られたら今度こそぶん殴られるかも。
He probably would at that.
それだけじゃなくて、外野からもいろいろ言われるだろうね。きっと言われるだろうよ。姉さんは神童と呼ばれるくらい優秀だったのに、妹はけしからん。何様のつもりだって感じで。
Actually, allow me to correct you on that point there, Kaito Yashio. People have already said that about Akiho Tsunomiya. They said that even before she became the president of the Robotics Club. In other words, they've already said it, so...
例えば、他の生徒の保護者とかさ、警察とか。怪我人が出るような危ないことなんだから、これ以上続けるなって。
Kaito feeling guilt about what happened with Mizuka and the Kimijima Reports is definitely playing into this.
もしかしたら罵声を浴びせられるかもしれない。歩いてるだけで生卵が飛んでくるかもしれない。スバル君のお父さんには訴えられるかもしれないね。賠償金って話になれば、アキちゃんの両親にも迷惑かける。1号機の失敗の時は、それでもまだ仲間がいたけどさ。
What few she had.
協力者だっていたし、ロボ部だってまだ存在してた。
But that was an entirely different kind of failure.
でも、今回はわけが違う。味方なんて誰もいないよ。
Not even you, Kaito.
JAXA だって降りた。スポンサーもいない。学校の後ろ盾もない。教頭から圧力がかかるだろうから、 当然蒲田のおっちゃんとかドクとかその辺の町工場も協力してくれない。アキちゃん個人でやってくつもりならお金だってない。仮に万博までに2号機を修理できたとしてもさ、それをアキちゃん一人で東京まで運べるわけ？どう考えても無理だ。続けられるわけがない。
As true as it is, you're the last person to be talking to Akiho Tsunomiya about not going on, Kaito.
それでも諦めないの？
As I said before, would you refuse to give up trying to be Kill-Ballad's number one? If the answer is no to that question, Kaito, then you should already be aware of how Akiho feels after all this time. If I were to hit Akiho with this much negativity, under normal circumstances she'd most likely break. Here she should at least hesitate if nothing else. But what has happened to Subaru and what has happened to the Robotics Club pales in comparison to the machinations of the Committee of 300. You know this, Kaito, and yet you seem to be glossing over it when the situation is convenient. Instead,
諦めたくない。これはうちだけの自己中心的なわがままだって分かってる。全然空気読めてないもんね。不謹慎にも程があるもんね。
the fact that you're acknowledging all of this actually proves that you can read the room quite well.
きっとこんなうちの夢なんかには誰もついてきてくれないよ。
Unfortunately, that is true.
それでも自分のやりたいことを強引に押し通して一人で無茶して頑張って。でも結局できませんでしたで終わっちゃうかもしれない。
それでも
Akiho grasps her chest tightly.
それでも前にも言ったでしょ。うちはお姉ちゃんに追いつきたい。
She's still determined.
それが一番の目標なの。
全部捨ててでもそれを目指すって。
Like you wouldn't for yours, Kaito?
ここまで来たんだから。あと一歩なんだから。これまでいつだってうちはバカでダメダメで発作持ちで褒められるところなんてまるでなかった。でもね、カイ、この夢だけはどうしても譲れないの。絶対に途中で終わらせたくないの。
You knew it would come to this, Kaito. How could you not? But crying out loud, says the person who also decided to collect all 7 Kimijima reports and distributed them to the world. Talk about having a thick head.
なるほどね。まったくその執念には恐れ入るよ。
Kaito, if you wanted to give up on things, you would have done so way back when. You're hardly one to talk.
でもさ、俺アキちゃんのこと信用してないんだよね。
When did you ever have faith in her? Even as childhood friends, you never really believed in her from the start.
カイ、
無理だよアキちゃん。アキちゃん一人じゃどうにもならない。
そこまではっきり言わないでよ。 そりゃうちはお姉ちゃんと違って平凡だし、人を引きつけるような魅力だってないよ。スバルみたいにロボット工学に優れてるわけでもないし、フラウボーみたいにプログラムができるわけでもないし、ジュンみたいに空手やってたわけでもないし、カイみたいにキルバラが上手なわけでもないよ。何の取り柄もないって分かってるよ。それでもうちにはうちのどうしても譲れないものがあるんだ。誰に嫌われたっていいもん。これだけは貫き通すって決めたんだもん。
そんなアキちゃんの決断を信用してないって言ってるわけ。
Of course you are, Kaito.
はい。ねえ、どうしてそんなこと。
Easily, I'm afraid to say. Akiho, very easily.
これまで散々毎日のように俺のこと振り回しといてさ。
Trying to absolve yourself of having followed her all this time.
この後に及んで相談もなくアキちゃんだけで勝手に決められちゃったら。
Once again, hypocrisy rearing its ugly head as, yeah, you still haven't told her about the Kimijima reports at all. You're the one who has kept things from her, Kaito Yashio. Kaito is back to being at his absolute worst, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
秋のことよろしくね。
Yeah, there it is. The only reason that he was ever friends with Akiho at all was because she was the younger sister of Misaki Tsunomiya. If that weren't the case, if Misaki and Akiho were not siblings but in two separate families, Kaito would have absolutely nothing to do with Akiho at all, and likewise would not want anything to do with her at all. God damn it. This is really making me
ミ
insanely
サ姉
mad.
と約束した俺の立場がないでしょうが。
As somebody who has actually done the things that you've done and seen the things that you've seen, you have no right to say anything about complaining, Kaito.
ねえ、カイ。カイも反対なの？
Do you even have to ask? You know, Akiho, that you know better than anyone that Kaito wanted absolutely nothing to do with the Robotics Club whatsoever. All they wanted to do was be number one in Kill-Ballad and nothing else, nothing more, nothing besides. Even if he did go off to do other things, like having already achieved his dream, there was no point in him sort of excelling at anything else from his perspective.
うちと一緒に来てくれないの？
And one final nail in your coffin, Kaito Yashio, is that, yeah, you wouldn't be saying all this now if Akiho had been dragged into the Committee of 300's machinations or ended up being affected just like the people of Tokyo, along with what happened with Mizuka. You wouldn't be saying this if that were the case, would you? Then again, maybe not. I let out a sigh.
それは俺への頼みと受け取っていいわけ？
I think it was a question.
え？
I put the 2 bottles of skull in my hands on the ground. In their place, I take out the Pokecom from my bag on my waist. You say that Akiho can't read the room? Well, neither can you, Kaito, when it comes to these sorts of things.
そういうことなら、アキちゃんさ、
All she wanted
俺と勝負しなよ。
all she wanted was a yes or no, Kaito.
はい。
Selfish, stubborn, and pig-headed to the end. That is Kaito Yashio in a nutshell, especially when it comes to Kill-Ballad.
勝負だよ、勝負。キルバラの。それでアキちゃんが万が一にも俺に勝てたら、とことん付き合ってあげるよ。
You and that ultimatum of yours, Kaito, might very well be the death of the likes of Akiho.
そんなに嫌なんだ。
As if there were any doubt, Akiho.
そんなに。そっか。そうだよね。ごめんね。うち甘えてたかも。カイだけはいつだってどんな時だってうちの味方でいてくれるって思ってて。
Hate to break it to you, Akiho, but you've known deep down that Kaito was never on your side. He was always at your side, but he was never on it. Not even once.
本当にごめん。うちの思い上がりだったね。
You're far from the only conceited person in this world, Akiho Sonomiya.
脳ガキはいいからさ。
I pay her no mind and launch Kill-Ballad. Now who's being thick-headed, Kaito?
やらないの？
やっても無駄だよ。勝てるわけないもん。分かっててそんなこと言ってるんでしょ。
She's never been beaten Kaito once.
ごちゃごちゃ言わない。俺シンプルなのが好きなんだよね。
The actions that you've taken up until this point suggest otherwise, Kaito, and the Committee of 300 do not give a shit about you and your own ambitions. Yeah. I'm really not liking you right now, Kaito Yashio, at all.
だからさ、5分だけアキちゃんの本気の全力ってのを見せてよ。
As if you're being serious. Oh wait, you're not. There are plenty people out there that can body you at fighting games. Hate to break it to you, Kaito Yashio, but you are no Daigo Umehara, and that's a fact. Akiho bites her lip like she's holding back tears. Despite that, she pulls out her Pokecom. But that will have to wait until the next episode, adventurers, so when we return, the showdown between Kaito Yashio and Akiho Sonomiya. I'm not looking forward to it at all. But as always, adventurers, until next we meet.